This is Woman Thou Art, a program where women share their real-life experiences on various issues and how they have thrived in their respective careers or businesses. On this episode, we feature Maureen Nenechi, a transformation trailblazer, a distinguished constant trainer, speaker, and a certified life coach by Maxwell Leadership Trainer. Maureen, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm super excited to be here.
Before we get to the details of this program, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Maureen Nenechi Kaseloki. Kaseloki is my husband's name, but I go by the name Maureen Nenechi as a brand. Yeah, so I was born and bred in Lusaka. I'm a Lusaka person. I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, a consultant, coach, and mentor. And the coaching and speaking that I do is around financial agility, leadership, personal development, and mindset change. I went to school, to various primary schools, so to say, that sometimes I feel ashamed to mention that in the 7 years that I was in primary school, I went to 5 different primary schools. But the good news is that I was able to settle when I went into secondary school, which I did at Roma Girls from grade 8 up to 12. And then thereafter, I went to do accountancy at Chingola School of Accounts, or ATC as it was known then, Accountancy Training College. That's where I did my AAT, and then furthered after some years to do ACCA. So I'm a fellow of ACCA. I'm also a fellow of Zika. I've also done other programs such as Maxwell certification, where I certified as a leadership trainer, speaker, and coach. And I've also done neuro-linguistic, yes, which is the study of mindset. Yeah, I've also done a training or a certification in life coaching. Yeah, I'm a mother of 3 beautiful children, and I thank God for them, married to 1 man. Yeah, and the other thing that I'd want to mention about me, which I'm very proud of, is that I value people, and I believe that in each and every person there's greatness, though you have to work it out to express the brilliance of the greatness that you have. And that's where I come in with the programs that I do to just help people discover the greatness that lies in them. And yeah, so I love people and I value people. Above all, I love God, and I am a strong Christian. Yes.
Awesome. So what is the happiest part of your daily routine?
Okay, so when it comes to the happiest part of my daily routine, for me, it's the time that I spend in my devotion, when I'm praying and studying the Word of God, because it's in that moment that I discover who I really am and why I was assigned or sent to earth. Yes, I get to glean a lot of nuggets and principles from the Bible, and even strategies. It's in that moment when I'm spending that quiet time with God that I get to download strategies of how I can effectively deploy the gifts, the talents, and the competences that I have in the marketplace. So if I don't get to spend time with God, I feel so incomplete. So it just sparks my day when I begin like that. So that's the happiest moment, because it empowers me, it energizes me to go and become effective and impactful in the marketplace.
In terms of motivation, what motivates you as a woman?
Okay, so what motivates me as a woman, again, it's scriptural. Yeah, and life itself. So I'll explain that. You see, in the Bible, the first book of the Bible, which is Genesis 1:28, God says He blessed them. First of all, in 26, He says He created the male and female, and then He created them in His own image. Just that is so motivational to me, because when when you read a statement like that you are created in the image and likeness of God, it means you are like God. Now, when you look at what God has created, when you just look at creation, it's so huge, right? So it shows that there's something in me. I can also do something. And for him to entrust the earth to mankind, which is both male and female, he gave them an assignment to replenish the earth, to dominate, to tender. In short, is to tender it right with what he has put in me. So that likeness that is in me, it's supposed to help me to improve. In short, is to improve the earth, to make it better. He started the creation, but we made it better. How did we make it better? He created the tree, but out of the tree is a chair which you're seated on, is the chair that the bed that we sleep on. So many things are made out of wood. So that's improvement, right? So just that in itself is motivation for me and the purpose that God created me for. That now that I know it, because when you don't know your purpose, you won't have anything to keep you awake. You understand what I mean? Or to motivate you to do life. So the purpose that I have to help people discover their potential, to polish that potential, nurture it, and help them to deploy it in the marketplace so that they can be impactful and live meaningful life. To me, it's motivation enough.
Great.
Yes.
You spoke about in your preamble that you are an accountant, you're a life coach, you're a mother. So how do you actually manage to balance your professional life and your family life? Because it's quite involving.
I like that. It's a great question. Yeah, so I'll tell you one thing about balance. When I was growing up, my understanding of balance was equal weights or equal timings. But when I grew up, I realized that balance is in proportions, or in short, what is of priority. An example that I can give is when you're baking a cake. I don't know whether you know a bit about cakes. You realize that the portion of flour that you add is a lot, right? But the portion of baking powder is small, and yet it completes the whole picture. So for me, I've learned to prioritize what is of priority in that time. So for instance, during working days, I know that 8 to 17 belongs to my employer. So I should give more attention. That's what is of priority. When I knock off and I get home, to me now, that is my time. I have to spend it with my children. And we have actually developed certain more like rituals. We watch TV together. At times we watch the news together. We discuss. And over news, we are even, I'm asking my kids how their day was. If they've got any homework, do the homework with them. At the same time, I also have to spend time with my husband. But that is the time that I have to maximize. I have conditioned myself not to carry work to my home. Yeah. However, there might be instances when I would need to do that, but it's not all the time. So that's just how it is. You need to make sure that you are scheduling time in such a way that what needs to be given priority in that moment should be given priority. Yes, I do even the speaking engagements that it's not all the time. I may be asked to go and speak, but I also have to look at the schedule that I have. Is it conflicting? Is it of priority in that moment? So if there's a family need and it's priority, let's say, for instance, my child is not feeling too well, definitely I'm not expected to go for work. And that's why the employer also gives me sick leave to go and attend to my child. So that's how I juggle the work. And I also believe in the I call it the 888 time principle. So we've got 8 hours for the employer, right? The 8 hours is mine, and I have to maximize it. In that 8 hours, I can go and speak for an hour. In that 8 hours, I can spend time with my children. I can also use it for grooming and catch up. If you get what I'm saying. Then the other 8 hours, I try to sleep for 8 hours, but you know what? At the stage where we are at, I think we can't afford to sleep for 8 hours. So we can try by all means, because I know it's a healthy way to do it, or that's the health guide that we get, that we should sleep for 8 hours, but at least I can reduce to 7, or I can sleep for 6 hours. Like I said again, it depends with what is of priority at that time. So we have a lot of time at hand. It's just that sometimes we don't maximize. We like to waste time. Imagine if you're watching a movie the whole day, that time you could do it to engage in productive activities. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch a movie, but you can watch 1 hour, 2 hours, it's good. You need to relax. I love watching movies. I watch movies actually every day, especially now that we don't have power. You realize that time in the night, what am I going to be doing? So I can just catch up and watch a movie to just relax. That's how I relax. I don't know how others relax. So I'm just giving an example of how I'm able to juggle the time, yeah.
Let's talk about personal development, especially in a woman's life. How important is personal development?
Okay. So when you talk about personal development, what we are just simply saying is engaging in activities that will better your life, but you have to be intentional about it. I think for me, I've already given a preamble to my motivation. If you know why you are here, that you are supposed to improve, definitely you work towards it, right? So personal development is important because, one, it brings the best out of you. You discover yourself because you are intentional about your growth. And when you understand that life is about growth, life is just about growth. You look around you, even us at one time we were toddlers, but look at us now, we are adults. So life in itself speaks of growth. And why shouldn't you grow as a person? There's so many visions to you. So when you dedicate time to engage in activities that will grow you, you realize that those visions of you begin to unfold. Yeah. So one of the benefits is what I've talked to you, discover yourself. But the second thing is that you, apart from discovering yourself, you know your feet in the world. You will not just fit anywhere. I'm not a journalist. So it's through personal development that I was able to know that, oh, maybe I can't be a journalist. In as much as I can, sometimes I do moderate discussions, but that doesn't make me a journalist. So that's not my fit in the world. So with personal development, you are able to know your fit in the world. And if you know your fit in the world, you are able to develop mastery. And when you develop mastery, you become productive, sought after. Not only sought after, but then you become so impactful in the world, in every space that you play in, because you have developed yourself. If you don't develop yourself, you might not even leverage on the opportunities that are available. Personal development, it more like positions you to leverage on different opportunities that avail themselves before you or present themselves. Yeah.
Great. I'm aware that you are recognized as an ambassador for change by the United Nations Women Foundation in 2023. Tell us about this recognition. What was it all about?
Okay, so the recognition really is based on the works that I've been doing, you know, mentoring people, empowering people with leadership capabilities, mindset change, as well as financial agility. So I got nominated by Dr. Nelly, who is the overseer, or should I say, the overseer of PLD, Project Life Design, an organization that helps individuals to discover themselves, to harness the gift that they have so that they can better apply it in the world and be impactful as well as significant contributors. So what Project Life Design does is that it encourages people to brand themselves. Okay, brand themselves. You brand yourself, and then you validate it by what you do. So it's not a recognition that will just come without being substantiated. Like, why are we giving you this? It's because of the works that you have been doing, making an impact, contributing to the betterment of humanity. So that is what the recognition was all about. And because I'm so big on leadership, mindset change, and financial agility, as well as personal development, you realize that my works didn't go unrecognized. So that was the recognition that was made. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's take a short break.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folks, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on the necessary steps and conducts that will shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art every Wednesday at 18:30 hours.
Welcome back. In case you have just tuned in, you are watching Woman Thou Art, and in the studio I'm joined by Maureen Nenechi, a certified chartered accountant and also a life coach who also empowers individuals and organizations to unlock their potential. Maureen, back to our interview. With the over a decade of impressive leadership experience with a proven ability to change high-performing teams, what are some of the keys to building and maintaining healthy relationships?
Wow, I love the question. Okay, so if you want to build a healthy relationship, one thing I've learned is as an individual, you should have love for people, respect people, and value every human being, regardless of their status, their gender, or their position in society. That is very key, because that's what will help you to relate with a person at a human level. You will not think of the position. You will not look at the accolades that you have, but you just treat the person with respect. Why? Because you love them. I'm not talking about the intimate kind of love. I'm talking about where you have respect and you recognize that this person that I'm dealing with is a significant person. The person is important. So that's number one. And I would want to tie it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You realize that every human being, the third, I think it should be the third law, which talks about need to belong. So if you want to make somebody feel that sense of belonging, it means you must show them love. You must value them. So that's the first thing. But the second thing for me is having that understanding and recognition that human beings are fallible. So when you know that human beings are fallible, you will not treat them like gods. When they make mistakes, you will not come on them like a rolling lion. No, you will actually be gracious towards them. You get what I'm saying? Eh? So it's very important for you to recognize that people are fallible. Always have it at the back of your mind. In so doing, you'll be able to create healthy relationships. Relationships that, because there will be certain things that you tolerate because you understand that everybody has got a natural weakness, and therefore I still need to relate with them. Yeah, so those two things for me are key. But also allowing people, to express themselves. Allow them to express themselves freely without you interfering with their expression. Like, you don't want to dispel the contribution that they are making. So 3 things for me. The first one is love. Be kind to people. Value people. The second one is recognize that human beings are fallible. They have weaknesses and you have to be tolerant. And the last one is allow people to express themselves. Don't just shut people anyhow, because that shows when you allow somebody to, even if what they are saying is nonsense, just learn to listen, because in so doing, you are validating the first point, which I said, you treat them as valuable people. So somebody that you value, you allow them to express themselves freely, of course, with respect. Yeah, so those 3 things are the things that I've run with, even as a leader. Where I work, I have a team with me. I allow them to express themselves. Yes.
Great. With a passion for human development and mindset transformation, how do you help women, like women who have limiting beliefs in themselves, especially when it comes to some women? They have this low esteem where they feel they can't do anything because maybe they don't have the acquired qualifications in society.
Okay, You see, the issue of limiting beliefs is not something that is just exclusive to women. I think it cuts across all genders. However, for the purpose of this discussion, I will restrict it to women, maybe because of the certain labels and restrictions that were placed by society, which kind of affected the self-esteem of a woman, if you get what I'm saying. But we are slowly, actually, I would say we have made a lot of traction to override or to do away with that notion. And the notion I'm talking about is a woman's place is in a home. Now we know that women can contribute, can make significant contribution beyond the home. Yes, naturally they are caregivers, but that doesn't stop them from contributing in any space in society. Yeah. So for those that have got limiting beliefs, maybe first of all we need to understand what is a limiting belief. Yeah. So for me, I think that a limiting belief is a belief that prevents you from leveraging on the opportunities that are available. So you realize that when you have a belief that is preventing you from accessing an opportunity, it means it's limiting. If it's something that is preventing you from growing, it means it's limiting. But maybe we should ask ourselves, how can we overcome that? Because I know that there are still women up to now. Others is because of the exposure that they have had, the education that they have acquired. They have since done away with certain beliefs. The best way to overcome a limiting belief is to be curious. Curiosity is a very significant and critical trait for a person to have. Ask yourself, why do you think the way you are thinking? Why? Are you able to validate that? Is there evidence to prove that surely that belief that you have is truly, it truly is, it's something that is real? Or it's just something that is an illusion of your own mind? You get what I'm saying? So we should learn to question our own belief systems. And then the other thing that can also help, apart from that, I've talked about curiosity, right? But let me maybe also add a bit more context to it. When you are curious, you are asking, like, why am I thinking like that? But then ask another question. What are the options? What are the other people doing? And that's where education and learning plays a significant role. Because then you acquire new perspective. That's what it does. When you begin to ask, are there options? If there are options, where are the options? Where can I get the options? It begins to open up your mind. And as you begin to open your mind, you realize that those other beliefs that were there, that were limiting you, would dissipate. Say, for instance, if somebody came to you and said, did you know, there was, I'll just give an example. It's not a very good example. But when we were growing up, we were taught that if the way you are seated like that, especially when you are lying on the floor, I cannot cross over your legs or else you stop growing. Was that true? Did people stop growing? So that's the kind of interrogation that we should be applying to our beliefs. Is it true? Can it be validated? Is there evidence? If there's no evidence, are there options? What else? Learn from others as well. So it helps you to overcome the limiting beliefs. And finally, maybe I would also want to mention about being open-minded. Sometimes we are too rigid. Whatever we knew in the past, to us we take it like this is all there will ever be. No. The Bible says we know in part. Every one of us knows in part. There's no one who has the monopoly of wisdom or knowledge. So the fact that you do not have the monopoly of wisdom or knowledge, it means that you can always learn. There are always new perspectives that can help you to begin to see things from a different lens, rather than from the lens that you have always been using, even in the past. So for me, that's how I always those are some of the examples that I would give people, especially when we're talking to women. I'll tell you one thing. There's an organization where I belong to, Femmes d'Excellence. So Femmes d'Excellence helps women, especially widows, to find their true worth, to discover their true worth and begin to help themselves. The fact that your husband has died does not mean that you stop living. you can still make it because you have worth within you. You using through the use of your skills, you can still be financially stable and meet the needs of your family. So I'll tell them that this belief that you only depend on your husband. What if your husband is not there? Because your husband will not always be there forever. Or what if your husband stops working? How will you survive? If you are a helpmate in the home, you realize that when the other person is not there, you should be able to arise and offer the help. So how are you going to help if in the first place you have never made yourself valuable, for instance? How? So it has to start now. Stop thinking that it's only your husband who can do this for you. So there are all these limiting beliefs and that even they kind of increase or enhance the low self-esteem in people, which is not supposed to be there. So people should know that there's value in them and that even without others, they can still do it. And that those that are around us are just there to support. Now, when you are being supported, it does not mean that you shouldn't do anything about it because those are just enhancing what you have. Yeah.
Great. Usually in life, we usually have goals set. What are some of the tips that you have for achieving meaningful, sustainable goals?
I love that question because I'm so big on goal setting. Okay, so goal setting. Before you even set any goals, there are 3 questions that you need to ask. What do you want in life? What is your want? What do you want? When you define what you want, it will help you to come up with aspirations, okay? Ambitions, visions. This is what I want. But the next question, because just knowing what you want is not enough. You need to be convinced. You need to have the conviction that this is truly what I want. So the next question is, why do you want it? Now, the strength of your why will actually determine the level of conviction that you have of what you have described as your want. But it shouldn't end there. Yes, I know I want it for this purpose. But the next question then is, maybe an example I can give is, let's say, there's a lot of talk about financial freedom. But the question is why? Why financial freedom? If you don't define why, you realize that even the goals that you're going to set, they'll be weak. What are they supporting? To what end are you working that goal for? To what end? So the end is defined by the why, right? Finally, the last question you should be asking is, how bad do you want it? Now, how bad you want it is the desire. Do you really desire to have it? So the strength of your desire, believe you me, when you have a burning desire, it was Napoleon Hill who said, if you have a burning desire, you actually get the results that you want. So that should be that should be foundational before you even begin now to set goals, because the goals are only supporting you to achieve your wants, isn't it? That which you want, your aspirations, your dreams. So every goal is driven by the values that you have, the aspirations that you have, your life vision, your life mission, and the ambitions that you have. So that will be the beginning. If you have that right, even the goal setting, when you set your goals will just be facilitating. So goals are enablers. They are not the main thing. They are enabling you to achieve your dreams, your values, your vision, your ambition, or your aspirations. So that is very, very important. I don't want to go into the goal setting and all that, but if you want to develop sustainable goals, first of all, define the 3 things that I've talked about. What do you want? Why do you want it? How bad do you want it? In short, how hungry are you? Because if you're not hungry for something, if I put food here and you're not hungry, you will not make an effort to do it. And every goal requires you to make an effort to do it. So it will depend on your level of hunger, of wanting to achieve that which you have defined as your life purpose, mission, goal, or aspirations. Yeah.
As a life coach, what are some of the programs in brief, that you are undertaking just to improve the lives of women and girls in Zambia?
Okay, so for me, I wouldn't say that I have programs per se, but I do events. I do events where we share insights, techniques of how you can better your life as a woman. And I also offer mentorship. The mentorship, that one I do one-on-one. So for those who identify themselves with me and they have come to me for mentorship, I do that. There's one girl, I'm so proud of her, Victoria Chifiti. She's now in the United States. She's doing a program for leadership, women in leadership. I'm so proud of her. She's my mentee. And those are the people that I do mentor. So I do for women, it's mainly one-on-one, other than through the speaking engagements that I have and all. But I don't have a specific program to say this is for women. No, I don't. But I do help out for those women, especially through the mentorship programs. And it's not like it's to every woman, it's to those who receive the call.
As we come to the end of the program, what are your closing remarks?
Okay, so what I would want to say is for every woman out there, especially those that feel they cannot contribute significantly to society because of their educational background or they are limited in education, the message I have for them is that use your experience, use your expertise. There are some people out there who are business people and they have run big businesses and yet they don't have the formal education. Let not formal education stop you or prevent you from voicing out. You can still contribute through your experience. And why are you being limited? Just know that you are valuable and you are well able with what you have. It's about the giftings and it's about the skills that you have that adds value to the marketplace. So why don't you reach out within you and mine out that greatness and share it without being prevented by societal narratives? I think that's what I would say.
Awesome. Maureen, thank you so much for coming for this program. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate for the opportunity that you gave me.
Okay. Well, viewers, that is all we prepared for you on Woman Thou Art. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Faith Katai, saying goodbye. Have a pleasant viewing.